Lawyers for McKenzie Shirilla are asking the Ohio Supreme Court to reconsider her appeals. Shirilla was sentenced to life in prison after she intentionally crashed her car in Strongsville 4 years ago, killing her boyfriend Dominic Russo and their friend DaVon Flanigan. In June, the state's top court declined to review Shirilla's post-conviction appeals, ruling the petition was filed late. Her attorneys are asking the judges to reconsider, saying that she has faced confusing, inconsistent deadlines. Now, convicted defendants in Ohio typically have 365 days after their trial transcripts are filed to challenge that conviction. Prosecutors say Shirilla's lawyers filed on the 366th day.
Right now in Columbus, Ohio, 7 justices are deciding if a single day can undo a murder conviction. You read that right. 1 day. That's it. McKenzie Shirilla is serving 15 years to life. 2 young men are dead. And her entire legal future comes down to a leap year. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand 2 things. First, exactly how a calendar mistake buried a woman's constitutional rights. Second, why one Supreme Court justice refused to go along with his own colleagues. On July 7, 2026, Shirilla's defense team filed an emergency motion. They're asking the Ohio Supreme Court to reverse itself. That almost never happens. You need to understand something before we go further. This isn't a new appeal. It's not new evidence. It's a desperate request for 7 justices to admit they got it wrong. If you want to follow every twist in this case as it happens, hit subscribe on Leadvale Crime right now. We're covering this live, filing by filing. Before we dig into the legal chaos unfolding in Columbus, we have to go back to the 2 families who thought this was over. Back to a night in Strongsville that changed everything. Because underneath every statute number, every docket entry, every legal argument, there are 2 young men who never made it home. Dominic Russo, DaVon Flanigan. You need to know their story first. What happened that night wasn't just a car crash. It was a decision that a judge would later call chilling. But to understand how one missed day could undo a murder conviction, we have to go back to the night everything changed. July 31, 2022, Strongsville, Ohio, a quiet suburb outside Cleveland. McKenzie Shirilla is 17 years old, behind the wheel of a Toyota Camry. Dominic Russo, 20, rides beside her. DaVon Flanigan, 19, sits in the back. Something happens in that car. We don't know exactly what triggered it, but the data doesn't lie. Investigators pull the black box. The numbers are staggering. The Camry hits nearly 100 miles per hour, full throttle, no braking, not once. The car slams directly into a commercial brick building in an industrial park. Dominic and DaVon are pronounced dead at the scene. McKenzie survives, badly injured. She claims she has no memory of the crash. This is Promise 1, delivered. The evidence against her wasn't circumstantial. It was mechanical, time-stamped, and devastating. Her defense argued something different. They said she may have blacked out. A medical episode, not a decision. But McKenzie chose a bench trial. 1 judge, no jury. Judge Nancy Margaret Russo didn't buy it. Her actions were premeditated, the judge stated in court, calling Shirilla hell on wheels. 4 counts of murder, felonious assault, aggravated vehicular homicide. McKenzie Shirilla is sentenced to 2 concurrent life terms. Parole eligibility doesn't arrive until 2037. You watch a verdict like that come down, and you assume the story ends there. The gavel falls, the sentence sticks, the families finally breathe. For almost 3 years, that's exactly what happened. The case went quiet. The Ohio Reformatory for Women became her permanent address. Dominic and DaVon's families tried to rebuild something resembling peace. Then, in October 2024, her new legal team filed a single piece of paperwork. They thought they were on time. They were wrong by exactly 1 day. And that mistake is about to reopen everything. For almost 3 years, that verdict stood untouched. Then, a calculation error changed everything. Here's Promise 2. The exact mechanism that broke this case wide open. It's smaller and stranger than you think. Under Ohio law, defendants get exactly 365 days to file for post-conviction relief. Not 1 year, not roughly 12 months. Exactly 365 days. counted from when trial transcripts are filed. Mackenzie's transcripts were filed October 24, 2023. Her lawyers filed the new petition October 24, 2024. Sounds right, doesn't it? It wasn't. 2024 was a leap year. February had 29 days. That extra day shifted the entire countdown. The real deadline was October 23rd. Her lawyers filed 1 day late. 1 day. Let's break down exactly what that single day cost her. 1. The trial court ruled the petition invalid. No jurisdiction to even review it. 2. The 8th District Court of Appeals unanimously upheld that dismissal. 3. New medical evidence about a possible blackout was never examined. 4. The Ohio Supreme Court declined to hear the case. 6-1-5. Justice Patrick DeWine cast the lone dissenting vote. Read that list again. A 1-day filing error blocked medical evidence in a murder case from ever reaching a courtroom. 6 justices agreed the door stays shut. That should be the end of it. When a court rules 6-1, the law is usually considered settled. But Justice DeWine didn't sign off. He looked at the same filing his 6 colleagues reviewed, and he disagreed. Publicly. On the record. We don't know exactly what he saw in those pages. The court doesn't explain single dissenting votes. But defense attorneys are treating that one vote like a lifeline. What do you think Justice DeWine saw that the other 6 justices didn't? Drop your theory below. That single dissenting vote is now the last thing standing between her and a permanently closed door. On July 7, 2026, Shirilla's lawyers filed under Ohio Supreme Court Rule 18.02. This isn't a new trial, it's a motion for reconsideration, a direct request for the court to reverse its own ruling. That almost never succeeds. But her legal team is arguing something bigger than a missed date. They're invoking the 6th Amendment, the right to competent legal counsel. A basic mathematical mistake shouldn't strip a person of their constitutional right to appeal, her attorneys argue. Here's the detail that should unsettle you. A calendar miscalculation, not new evidence, not a legal loophole, could permanently seal a life sentence in place. If a detail like that surprises you, imagine how many other cases hinge on paperwork nobody double-checked. Subscribe to Leadvale Crime, because we track exactly these kinds of overlooked legal battles. The state sees it differently. Prosecutors argue deadlines exist for a reason. Bend them once, and the entire appellate system loses its foundation. And behind every filing, every motion, every legal argument, 2 families wait. Every time this case resurfaces, the Russo and Flanigan families relive July 2022 all over again. The state's position is blunt. These families deserve finality. The defense's position is equally blunt. A woman deserves her constitutional rights, regardless of who represented her. Which matters more to you, protecting deadlines or protecting constitutional rights? Tell us where you land. Now 7 justices in Columbus hold the final answer, and no one knows which way they'll rule. So here's where this case actually stands today. No ruling, no timeline. No guarantee the court even grants the motion. 7 justices are reviewing this behind closed doors right now. No cameras, no public arguments, just filings, private debate, and eventually, a written order. On one side, a woman arguing that a leap year miscalculation shouldn't define the rest of her life. On the other, 2 grieving families who were told this case was finally over. Both sides are still waiting. So are we. This case proves something uncomfortable. Justice doesn't always hinge on guilt or innocence. Sometimes it hinges on a calendar. If you were sitting on that Supreme Court bench, would you reopen this case? Or would you let the ruling stand? Comment your verdict below. We will be here the moment the Ohio Supreme Court issues its decision. If you want to be the first to know, subscribe to Leadvale Crime and turn on notifications right now. Because when this ruling finally drops, we're breaking it down completely. Every page, every vote, every consequence. Until then, Dominic, Russo, and DaVon Flanigan's families keep waiting. And so does McKenzie Shirilla. The only certainty right now is that nothing about this case is certain.